Hey YouTube, I'm Jess. Welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be all about Merit Beauty. I received a box full of their products last week and I've been trying them out ever since, and I have a few things to tell you guys about them. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, then just keep watching this video. Alright you guys, so a little bit about Merit before we get into the products. Merit is a responsible luxury brand of makeup. They are a clean beauty brand. They use EU compliant formulas. They are vegan, cruelty free, and certified by Leaping Bunny. And when it comes to all of their shipping materials, they are either recyclable, reusable, or compostable. Merit is all about the less is more kind of approach to beauty. They want you to be able to do your makeup in 5 minutes flat first thing in the morning before you head out the door. So as you can tell, it's very natural, very clean, very sophisticated. So when they say that their shipping materials are reusable, I think what they're referring to is the fact that with every first order, they actually send out this little makeup bag for free, and it is so cute. It has these two little straps here that just tie. And it's just like the perfect size, the most delicious color. I really love this guy so much. This is a huge bonus if you ask me. It's really great because there's no like metal or plastic or anything, which is great for the environment, but also means that you can just throw this in the wash. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about products. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is this guy right here. So this is the Minimalist. They call this a complexion perfection stick. So it's a little foundation and concealer in one. They say that it's not quite foundation, not quite concealer, but it's somewhere in between. This component is actually made with 43% recycled plastic, which is really cool. The idea with this is that you're supposed to just kind of go in and spot correct any areas where you have discoloration or acne and just kind of buff it in and move on with your day. Super simple and really light to get compliments on your skin and not on your makeup. So it's supposed to look really natural and really skin-like. So I ended up getting mine in a color that matched my body and not my face, which means I couldn't really use it for just a little touch-up stick. If I were just to cover up my blemishes, then those parts of my face would be a lot darker because my skin on my face is a lot lighter. So the way that I ended up using this was just applying a light layer all over and then going in and building up the coverage in the areas where I felt like I needed a little bit of extra coverage. And I totally get what they mean by the fact that it's a foundation and a concealer. Well, they say it's neither, but I'd say it's both. You can really even out your skin tone really nicely, give it a nice glow, a super natural finish that just looks like skin. But this thing builds up like nobody's business. I was shocked by just how much coverage I could get out of this just by adding a second layer in the areas where I need it. That's typically the way I approach foundation, especially when I'm doing it on clients who aren't used to wearing a lot of makeup. But the way that this built up, considering how light the coverage was from the first application, I wasn't expecting the second application where I just built up the coverage to be so full coverage. Like, I'd say it builds up to a medium to full coverage if you add on a second layer, which is really, really impressive for how lightweight this product is. And even though I built up the coverage in certain areas, those parts of my face still look really natural. They still look really skin-like. And I think that's due to the texture of this. So the finish of it is really dewy and glowy, really hydrated and fresh, which is really nice. They describe the foundation as lightweight with a hydrating formula that wears throughout the day without settling into fine lines. I would really agree with the fact that it's lightweight and hydrating. I mean, they don't specifically say that it's long wearing, but they say that it wears throughout the day without settling into fine lines. I don't know, it seems a bit wordy to me and trying to like sound like it's gonna wear all day, but I would say that this is definitely not a long wearing foundation, and I wasn't really expecting it to be. It does wear off the skin throughout the day, but in a really nice way to where it doesn't look patchy. It's definitely not mask proof or humidity proof or long wearing, but it is really beautiful, hydrating, and glowing. I would compare it to a tinted moisturizer with the ability to build up the coverage, which is really great. I tried applying this two different ways. One with the brush, which we will talk about eventually. The other way that I tried it was with a beauty blender, and I actually found the buffing style brush from Merit actually applied the product a lot better. I was able to stipple the product on top of itself to help build up the coverage really nicely, and because of the consistency of it, having that thicker brush with those dense bristles just really helped work the product into the skin and look really natural. I found with my beauty blender, I almost had to kind of drag the product across my skin to get it to blend out nicely, just because it is a bit of a thicker consistency. I was very surprised by this foundation. I didn't expect to like it, just because I typically don't like products like this that come in a stick form. I usually find them too dry, too thick, And even though this is a thicker texture, it doesn't feel thick, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and it just blends out really beautifully and naturally. So this really impressed me, and yeah, exceeded my expectations for sure. Next up, let's talk about the tinted lip oils. So they call these Shade Slicks. So Merit offered me one of each of their products when they sent them over to me, and they unfortunately were sold out of their highlighter. So I ended up picking up 2 of the lip oils, and unfortunately I didn't do a very good job at picking my colors because the 2 that I got are very similar in tone. I'd say the one I prefer between the 2 is Merit Catch. It's a little bit more of a rosy tone. It has kind of almost like a brick feel to it. It's the one I have on my lips right now. Still obviously quite pink. So this is a sheer color infused lip oil. It has shea butter and rosehip oil, and I love rosehip oil for my skin. So when I read that, I was really excited to see how this felt and see how it moisturized my lips. They do say that they hydrate your lips throughout the day. I honestly didn't really find that. A lot of lip products can be drying, and these definitely aren't drying, but I also wouldn't say that they're hydrating either. They're super comfortable on the lips though. They have a really interesting texture. The only other lip oils that I've ever really tried are from YSL, and these are definitely a different texture than the YSL lip oils. They're not super oily. I'd say they're kind of in between a moussey liquid lipstick formula and a lip oil formula kind of mixed together. They do give a good amount of pigment to the lips. They're really not long wearing. I wore this out to dinner one night, and I did definitely find that I had to reapply as soon as I took my mask off, and then yeah, I found myself just kind of repeatedly reapplying throughout the night. They say it's sheer. I actually don't really consider it sheer. Based on that description, I was expecting it to be more sheer than it really is. They do have a fair amount of pigment to them. They just don't really seem like an oil to me, but there definitely is sort of that oily vibe to them once you apply them to the lips. They're super shiny, really pretty. I really actually quite enjoy the formula. I think it looks so pretty and makes my lips just look so delicious and healthy and luscious. If you're like me and you have a lot of lines in your lips, it just smooths over top of everything really nicely, which is great. I kind of expected to like these ones, and yeah, they met my expectations. The only downside I would say is that they don't last a super long time. If you're okay with kind of touching up your lip throughout the day, then definitely check these out if you are curious. It ended up in my purse, and it's just been going around with me everywhere throughout the last week, and I've been using it pretty much every day. Okay, next up, let's talk about this guy right here. This is the Flush Balm. I got mine in the color Terracotta. Normally, I would never choose this color. It is, I don't know, just not something I'm typically drawn to. I really like rosy tones, pinky tones, really bright blue based pinks. This kind of mid-tone, orangey, warm, almost brown type of shade is not something that I would go for, but they were sold out of most of their colors besides this one and like a deep berry tone. So I went with this one, and I'm actually really happy I did because I don't have a cream blush like it in my collection. Merit says that these give you a lit from within color that lasts throughout the day. It's a transparent veil of color that shows your skin through from underneath with a really nice balmy finish to it. They also mentioned on their website that it's a low weight emollient, which means it won't clog your pores. I don't typically ever have that problem, but if that's something you have issues with, maybe you'd be interested in that. This component is also made with 43% recycled plastic, same as the foundation stick. So when I originally tried this, I applied it straight from the container onto my face. I kind of felt like nothing was showing up because it's really different than any cream blush that I've ever used before. I hadn't read the description on the website, and I was having a really hard time trying to figure out, like, is it showing? Is it not showing? Is it showing? Is it not showing? Because I felt like it was really warming up my skin and really looking like a super natural flush to my cheek. But I'm so used to cream blushes kind of being more pigmented and being like a pop of color on the cheek. It was hard for me to wrap my head around what it was doing. After reading the description on the website where they mentioned that it's a transparent veil of color that lets your skin show through, that was like, oh, that is exactly what this is. It adds color to your cheek so that your skin looks lit from within, it looks warmed from within, but it does not look like you have any type of blush or makeup or any type of product on your face whatsoever. Because it was so light and because I felt like it was barely showing up on me, I kind of had this impression in my head that like, oh, it won't last. By the end of the night, it'll be gone. But what I found was that color from this actually does last all day. So even in places where like my foundation had faded, this still was showing through on my skin. It's so different from anything that I've used before. A lot of times, like I'll put on a blush and then it slowly fades throughout the day until it's gone. It goes on so sheer, but then it just stays that way and it just keeps your skin looking really warm. It gives it that beautiful glow. It's so interesting. They really got this product down for a super natural, really quick, really easy makeup that like anyone can do, because you're not gonna be able to overdo it with this color. I found my favorite way to apply it is with the same little Merit brush. I just dip it right into the product and then right onto my skin. Yeah, it's just barely there, but my skin is warm. My face has a nice flush to it. It's great. It's really nice. And I've used it a bunch of times already, and like you can barely even tell from looking at it. So I feel like it'll last for ages as well, which is really great. It also gives the skin almost like a wet look. So I have no highlighter on my face right now, only that blush, and I brought it all the way up here, and you can see it gives like that wet look to the high points of my cheekbone. So that's my favorite look for my skin. You guys know I'm all about really hydrated, dewy looking skin. So this has been a huge, huge plus for me. Okay, so while I have this brush here, let's talk about this little brush. So they said that the brush is made really small so that it's good for travel. It fits right into this bag really easily. Specifically designed to be dense enough to work with the minimalist. And yeah, I really like it. I love that it is kind of like a flat top style brush, but they cut the bristles on an angle. So it's not completely flat, and you can really like press and stipple product into the skin comfortably, or you can brush or drag it down your neck. I feel like it fits perfectly right onto my cheekbone here so that I can apply the cream blush in a really beautiful way. And yeah, I'd say if you're picking up either one of these products and you don't have a brush like this already, definitely check it out. It's been really good for me so far. I've really enjoyed using it. And yeah, I will continue to use every time I use both of these products going forward. Let's talk about this brow gel. So I'm always talking about brow gel on my channel. I'm always talking about how I feel like it is the perfect product for someone who just wants quick and easy makeup. Brows make such a difference to your face, and if you're doing other makeup on your face but not filling in your eyebrows, it's not the cutest look, I'm not gonna lie. And brow gel is just like the easiest, most natural way to fill in your brows and do it in the quickest amount of time. So they call this the Brow 1980. It's a volumizing brow gel. They call it that as a nod to the 80s. The 80s supermodels were just like an iconic time in themselves, so it's named after that. I really like my brow gels to have quite a small wand. The wand on this guy is a little bit bigger. However, I haven't found it bothering me at all, especially because it's tapered. So if you just want to use the little tapered bit at the top, you can just use that part. But I haven't had any issues with it being super smudgy or anything. So some brow gels leave a lot of residue in your brows. So for example, the Glossier Boy Brow leaves a lot of product in your brow to really help make them look like thick and luscious. Or the Kush Brow Gel from Milk has fibers in it, so it leaves little fibers on your brows to make them look thicker. This one leaves zero residue in your brows whatsoever. So if you don't like the look of product in your brows, you're really gonna like this. I am like amazed how much product you can get into your brows, and you literally can't see any whatsoever on any of your brow hairs. Another thing that some brow gels do, for example the Charlotte Tilbury one, which I love, is they almost tint the skin underneath your brow a little bit. So you kind of like push the wand down onto your skin as you're applying the brow gel onto your brows, and it leaves a little bit of the tint on your skin, which can make your brows look thicker and more defined. This one doesn't do that either. So really it's just coating each individual hair with a little bit of tinted brow gel. It's not tinting your skin, and so it just looks so natural. That is the theme that is running throughout all of these products, and that's what they're going for. Less is more, natural makeup for the everyday woman. Like I said, the wand could be a bit smaller for me, but besides that, I think this is a really great product and I'm gonna continue using it. And then last but not least, let's talk about this mascara. I love the packaging on it, first of all. I think it's so beautiful and chic. This is the Clean Lash Lengthening Mascara. So Merit says that this tints, lengthens, and lifts with no smudging ever. When I first tried it, I wasn't sure if I loved it, but something about putting on this mascara just makes me feel so pretty. Like something about it is just very feminine, fluttery. I don't really love a volumizing mascara. I'm looking for usually fullness, thickness. This definitely lengthens more than anything, and something that I was really impressed with this by was the lack of transfer and flaking. I didn't realize it the first few times that I tried this, but this is actually a tubing mascara. So I don't know if you guys have tried tubing mascaras before. They've been on the market for a really long time. I've used them in the past before, but they only come off your lashes with warm water. So you can't use cold water, you can't use makeup remover. Like the way to get it off is just with warm water. And as you massage the warm water onto your eyes, the mascara comes off in like little tubes. So as you apply it, it sort of forms a little tube around each lash and it stays in place. So I didn't realize it was a tubing mascara, and I was really, really impressed with how long wear and lacking of smudging that it was. So I put this on Saturday morning. I went to work. After work, I went to the Elora Gorge where I went tubing. So I went tubing down a river for hours in the rain. No smudging whatsoever. Then I headed over to my girlfriend's house. I spent the night drinking at her place, and I got home around 11 p.m. and I fell asleep wearing this on the couch. Now, I never sleep in my makeup, like ever. I can't do it. No matter how drunk I am, no matter how tired I am, I will always get up and wash my makeup off. But something about this Merit makeup, it just feels like you're not wearing any makeup, and it's really comfortable on the skin. So I fell asleep on the couch that night. I woke up around like 1 in the morning and I moved straight into bed without washing my face because I just kind of forgot I had makeup on because I couldn't really feel it there. And I woke up the next morning and this mascara was still on, okay? 24 hours after all of that, no smudging. After that amount of time, the next morning, I did have a little bit of flaking above one eye, but besides that, it was like still in place, and it was the only thing left on my face. So if you're looking for long wear, if you're looking for something that's not going to smudge in the heat, this is going to be the one for you. I'm not sure if I love it yet because it's so different than what I'm used to. I definitely need to try it out for longer, and I will give like a full-on review once I use up the whole thing in a future empties video. But yeah, I am gonna continue to use it, and like I said, it makes me feel really pretty. I just feel like it makes my eyes and my lashes look really pretty and really nice. So yeah, it's been good so far. We'll see. All right, you guys, so I hope that was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's gonna help more people to see it too. You can subscribe to my channel for more in-depth reviews. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.